Hi there. I wanted to talk today about the Mediterranean diet and some tips on how you can make your diet a little bit more Mediterranean without feeling like you have to go kind of full bore on into the Mediterranean diet. The Mediterranean diet has kind of persevered for a while in the research as being valuable, a healthy eating pattern for prevention of cardiovascular disease, for increasing our lifespan, just for healthy aging overall. So it's definitely a great way to go. But it doesn't mean you have to jump into it and be fully Mediterranean to get all of these values. You can make a few simple tweaks and adjustments to your already existing diet to be a little bit more Mediterranean and reap a lot of benefits. The first tip is to use olive oil as your main fat, as this is the main fat in the Mediterranean diet, primarily because it is loaded with monounsaturated fatty acids, which basically help our cholesterol levels. And yeah, the best way to use olive oil is to drizzle it on your food after you've cooked it. You don't generally want to cook with it because it does oxidize at about 320 degrees. And for that same reason, you want to make sure it's in a dark glass bottle away from a light and heat source. But using olive oil to drizzle on food after it's cooked or on salads and things like that is a great way to get olive oil as your main fat. Another tip is to make sure that all of your carbohydrates are whole grains and not processed flour or refined grains. So we're talking about things like quinoa and oats and barley, and even air popped popcorn can be wonderful and fiber filled, and a great way to be more Mediterranean in your diet. But also be wary of portion sizes in the Mediterranean diet. They tend to use carbohydrates as a side dish, right? Not an entree. So instead of having pasta for dinner, pasta is kind of a side along with whatever the protein or veggies are that they're having for their meal. Speaking of the main entree, another very Mediterranean thing to do is to eat more fish. The Mediterranean diet generally has about 2 servings of fish per week as a way to increase your omega-3 fatty acids. And really within that diet, we're talking about the fatty fish like tuna, salmon, mackerel, herring, sardines. So, consider having a fish dinner a couple nights a week. And then in the same vein, incorporating kind of a meatless Monday, or this general concept as the Mediterranean diet definitely limits red meat and focuses a lot more on alternative protein sources. So in addition to fish, also legume heavy. So once a week, considering having a meal built around legumes, whole grains, and veggies. And, again, limiting red meat. So those are some tips to be a little bit more Mediterranean, and I'll actually jump back on here and give you a few more next time. But that's a good start. Play with those, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.